We have ourselves a race car. Okay, so GemSport was able to send the ECU way faster than I expected, and so I gotta get this engine ready to start. So the biggest thing is our hole in the pan. However, we also have a hole in the pan and another hole in the pan and some cracks. So the next best thing is to work on the rear subframe. So I'm gonna pull that apart, basically take it down to nothing, pull the diff out, put new bushings in. I got bushings from BMR. We're gonna sit it up in place and weld the pads on so it will bolt right into the car. Let's get to it. Okay, I'm blown away. When I did the Coretta bushings the last time, the subframe ones were a huge pain. The differentials came out pretty easy, but I didn't even cut the whole rubber boot out. I just like split the sawzall in there, cut through. I did nick it just a little bit, but she'll be fine. Cut through this and then use the air chisel. They came right out. Gotta love Texas cars, man. Can't beat them. All right, today's project on the Fusion is to get this rear end mounted. So it's gonna go like 2 3/8 of an inch, give or take. So I'm gonna cut this with the cutoff wheel. I already marked it with the tape. Okay, so I got the mounts all cut out. I cut this one a little bit too much, so I'm gonna have to put a piece in there to fill it. You can see there, we already got this one welded a little bit. We got the subframe leveled. It pretty much levels itself because the bushings are so solid. So I'm gonna just basically weld the bottom in, drop it down on the transmission jack, and then I'm going to weld the top in, and she'll be done and ready for paint. All right, and just like that, she's welded up. So I'm gonna throw some paint on it, probably call it a night, and then tomorrow I'll be able to put the springs in, hopefully, and get this thing in place for the last time, maybe, hopefully. There she is, bolted in, springs. Shocks need to be bolted in, but that's not a big deal. Those go right in. We still have our mounts for our gas tank, just barely. I just test fitted the all-wheel drive gas tank. It looks like it's gonna fit friggin' mint. We have ourselves a race car. Okay, so I just want to record this. This is full angle on the car. It's like 20 degrees, if that. Not a lot. We're gonna make that a whole lot more once we swap all the stuff out. All right, last night we got the motor and transmission out. It was quite a bit of work to get this whole thing out, actually, but we made it, and now I gotta get this transmission off the motor so I can sell it and basically pull anything that's valuable off of the motor so the motor can go as a core. There is a bunch of room under here, but it's all in the wrong spot. So basically everything from the firewall needs to be moved over so you can put the motor in the right spot and try to make this thing drive like a Mustang. So this subframe fits way too good. There's already holes in here that are really close. We're gonna line these up, and we're gonna basically like weld the nut or something to the body. And then we already put our spare arms that we had and lined it up, and it's almost perfect with the wheel well. So we're gonna line those up. We're gonna make some L channel brackets or something to go from there, and weld her in, and we'll have an S550 four-door Johnny thing. Okay, so these factory holes I welded a nut into. It lines up perfectly with this bolt hole here on the subframe, and never had an Ecoboost before. This is crazy. They're vacuum actuated motor mounts. I don't know if I have to run vacuum to it or just get new motor mounts. Maybe I'll make motor mounts because I think that we're gonna be off-centered, so especially with them being vacuum actuated, it's super weird. But anyway, that's our subframe we're gonna use. I gotta cut this out and hammer it so the subframe can come in here without hitting the pinch weld. And we'll be ready to sit this in, get a ratchet strap on it, and we can start mocking things up. I still gotta cut this mount off. Not excited about that, but we're getting there. Okay, so we got the subframe sitting in there pretty close to where it needs to be, and it fits really good, except the motor mounts are really close to the firewall, and that's not super great. I did some measuring, and that would put us like 7 inches past the firewall, I think, to get the engine to fit. So I mean, the dash is huge in these, you can't really see. They are super long, but that means a lot of work has to happen, which kind of stinks. So I think my game plan right now is try to get this subframe mounted. Then before I cut into the car, try to get the modules to read. If I can't get the modules to read, I'll send the ECU back to Gem Sport to have them do a couple more tricks to it. And then I took a better look at the Mustang, and the firewall is like crinkled and everything, so that kind of stinks. I'm still probably gonna try to use it because I have it, but it's definitely gonna need some pulling and body work to get it right. And then the frame rails obviously don't match up at all, so that's gonna make using that firewall a little bit difficult, especially with pushing this back so far. Yeah, so It's a lot of work, unfortunately. It's not a drop-in thing for the motor. I even looked into maybe doing like a front sump, and I think the motor's gonna sit way too far forward, and I don't think it's really gonna work with the rack. Yeah, so I think if I use the factory Fusion cradle and a front sump motor, it would work, but then we would have to build an angle kit and do a bunch of other stuff, and it wouldn't really be an S550, and it kind of defeats the purpose of what I'm doing. So you're gonna have to get to work because there's a lot to do. Well guys, we're making some progress on the Fusion. I hope you liked it. Let me know if you like the shorter videos versus the longer videos, or what you think I should do on this build series. We're gonna have quite a few more videos coming out on this thing because there is a lot of work to do. So make sure you comment, like, subscribe, check out the store, get yourself some sweet merch, and we'll see you later.